We became filmmakers, all of us, because we wanted to tell stories. Unfortunately, we were, just, how should I put it, in in the grip of economics. We could only make films that a star wanted to do, or that a producer wanted to produce, or a distributor wanted to distribute. We couldn't go out there and make a story the way we wanted to. And then one day I thought, if you are a storyteller, just tell a story. And I think that's where the journey started. I started writing on Facebook. I started writing different kinds of stories, and I wrote 204 stories every day, non-stop. And then Sony LIV came to me, and we had a conversation, and they had been following the stories, and they liked it very much. And it was their idea, I must say, it was Sony LIV's idea to ask me whether I would like to narrate these stories in a dramatic fashion, because not everybody likes to read, but a lot of people like to hear stories. And I thought it was a brilliant idea, and that's where the journey of Once Upon a Time started. So here we are, back to telling stories, hearing stories, and hopefully everyone there will like my stories. So I am to tell you a story that I have written. And to this group here, I am to read a story. So let's start with a story. Buddha had once said that 3 things cannot stay hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Time and again it has been proved that secrets destroy lives, and yet they continue to exist. But as Buddha said, the truth always comes out. After all, a secret cannot die a secret. And so, once upon a time, Jay would never listen to her, and that was the biggest problem with him. Sunaina had urged him to get the refrigerator company to ship the refrigerator only after he got back from his 10-day business trip. But he had forgotten. Here was a refrigerator now, and she had to deal with the bills and the various certificates. She just hated dealing with paperwork. She sent Jay a message. Thanks, but no thanks. Jay sent her 3 smileys back. There was a time when one smiley did the job, and then someone thought that one was not enough, and now it was a given that the more you love, the more smileys you send. It was late on a Friday night. 2 days since she had the refrigerator up and running. Jay was only 4 days into the trip. It would be another week before he got back. Sunaina was fast asleep. She had left the windows open to let in the quiet breeze that blew the white chiffon drapes into the air like they were dancing to a silent symphony. The door to her bedroom slowly creaked open like it had a life of its own. Sunaina woke up with the sound of the doorknob hitting the wall. It must be the wind that must have thrown the door open, she thought. She got out of bed to shut the door when she heard the breathing sound. It was a clear, undisguised breathing sound. Unmistakable. Yet, it did not seem human. It certainly wouldn't suit a burglar to break in and spend his time making breathing sounds. She decided to investigate. She turned the lights on in the house, but they flickered in an odd way and then blew out. She could swear that the breath was louder and almost like a sigh as the lights went out. The cell phone lay close by, and Sunaina switched the torchlight application on. In the beam of the white light, she began to walk to the source of the sound. It seemed to be coming from the kitchen. Sunaina walked closer to the refrigerator and then turned the beam to shine on the new metallic sheen. It was definitely coming from inside the refrigerator. Up until that moment, Sunaina was confident that there was a logical explanation. But hearing it emerge from inside the fridge made her hair stand on end. The sound was clear, a raspy, throaty breathing. She waited for a moment, allowing her rational brain to take over and remind her that it was silly to think of ghouls and ghosts and refrigerators. Sunaina slowly opened the refrigerator, but there was nothing there, except for the supplies for the next few days. The breath was even louder, though. The deep freezer in the top section seemed to be where it was coming from. Sunaina braced herself, and with all the courage that she could summon, she pulled on the refrigerator door, but it would not budge. It was iced in. She stared at it, heard the breathing sound as loud as a person sleeping next to her. The next day, the technicians from the refrigerator company identified the problem. The setting of the freezer was off, and the ice had jammed the compartment. The breathing sound came from the compressor. It was normal, they told her, nothing to worry. They were wrong. It happened again. The breathing sound was unmistakable, but she could hear that it was more feminine this time. Not that she could make out clearly on the previous night. It was back to the refrigerator. And like the night before, she did not find anything in the main storage area. The deep freezer was where it was coming from. She put her ear to the door of the deep freeze. The breathing sounded like a wheezing sound, like an asthmatic woman, too human to be any compressor. Then a thought struck her. The lights. Why would they go off because of the compressor? Sunaina stepped back and yanked the door open. Inside, she found the severed head of a woman. It was turned the other way, making the long, blood-drenched hair the only identifiable feature. The blood from the raw, pulsating neck had drenched the ice to a deep red color. Sunaina screamed, slamming the door shut, and rushed out of the kitchen. She bolted her bedroom shut and picked up a cell phone and dialed the number of her best friend, Asha. Her hands were trembling, and it took minutes before Asha could get one coherent word out of her. The next day she called Jay and asked him to fly down immediately. She was scared out of her wits. Either he came down or she was walking off. Jay tried hard to console her. Finally, Asha came to the rescue and promised Sunaina that she would stay with her till Jay got back from his trip. All through the evening, Asha kept saying, "See, there's no breathing sound. Do you hear anything?" Sunaina felt like a fool but had to agree with Asha. The severed head was not going to allow Asha to win, though. And later that night, the breathing sound came again. An added dimension was a whisper that accompanied the breathing. The head was saying something. Sunaina grabbed her digital camera. She was going to film this for everyone to see. They steeled themselves and went to the refrigerator. Asha stood a little behind Sunaina as Sunaina grabbed the deep freezer door and opened it. The head was there. But this time, it was facing her. Its eyes were gouged out and filled with blood, but it was easy to recognize. It was Asha. Sunaina screamed and turned around to find Asha's body writhing on the floor, headless. The aorta pumping out blood from her neck to the beating of her heart. Petrified, Sunaina collapsed on the bloody floor, paralyzed. Asha's cell phone rang. It was still in her hand. She recognized the number. It was her mother's number. But she had been dead for 2 years. Sunaina answered the phone. There was a whisper. It sounded like her mother. And it seemed to say, messages, messages, messages. Sunaina looked through the messages on Asha's phone. Her eyes fell on a conversation between Asha and Jay. Asha, your whiny wife is seeing a head in the refrigerator. Jay, ha ha, you know she has lost her head. Asha, how much more do we have to tolerate her? When do we get rid of her? Jay, when I get back. And this time, for good. Sunaina stopped crying. And after a while, she began to hope that she would see Jay's head in the freezer the following night. That was pretty good without a mistake. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
definitely would not be opening my refrigerator.
Let me start by saying that this is Uday and Sony LIV who thought I could do this. I had no idea. When they told me that you should narrate your stories and all, I said, "मैं क्या कर लूँगा यार? I don't know." So somewhere I think they saw in my stories what I couldn't. For me, it was just a kind of a release. I was just expressing myself. And then, yes, you're right. Every story has an inspiration from life, from incidents. And that's what stories are, right? Yeah. Stories are what we narrate. When you go out of this press conference and talk about this press conference to someone, it becomes a story. So everything is a story. Our lives are stories.
So real to real, that's how it works out.
Well, I think in the days where people are saying that movie making is becoming very expensive, and I'm reading tweets and stuff about people saying that the industry is going to be costing a lot of money now to make a movie. I was like, hey, let's just tell a story on the web and make it as good as a movie. What the hell?
Yeah, hi Vikram. You've got a penchant for horror attachment towards most of the projects. So do you feel that most of these stories will have a horror element to it? And the point number 2 is what actually attracts you to horror so much in life? most of your
Actually,
films?
you'll be amazed that out of the 104 stories that we have earmarked for this year, 2 stories a week, Mondays and Thursdays, which makes it 52 weeks. You'll be surprised to know that there are only 12 horror stories. The others are like the one you saw right now, which is an emotional, I would say, if it was a film, it would come under drama. There are stories of love. There are mythological stories, my favorite, Krishna. There are, as a matter of fact, when I used to write on Facebook, it was called the Kanha stories, and my Kanha stories used to get the most amount of likes. So I love writing about Krishna, about Mahabharata, about our mythology. And then on the other side, I've written about parallel universes and quantum physics and what should happen if we meet ourselves 20 years from today. So there are stories of all kinds. It's like, I think I'm the new princess of Arabian Nights.
Yeah, Vicky. You in your career, you have discreetly done quite a few dubbing of your actors, and
Not so discreet if you know.
in the sense, like what I mean is, it's not publicly known. I mean, it's known to a section of the audience. Like everybody may not know who did the dubbing of Raz, and like some sections of the audience would know. So what I'm appreciating that you had done the dubbing so well, and you had mastered the art. So to what extent your proficiency in dubbing helps you narrate these stories in terms of voice modulation and the way you emote, pause as you're narrating?
See, I have had the good fortune of being an assistant director and that to the chief assistant director to 3 very big, very good directors. I was a chief assistant to Mukul Anand to start with, all the way to Agnipath, then with Shekhar Kapoor, then with Mahesh Bhatt. As an assistant, I have the opportunity to work with some of the greats. I have worked with, as an assistant, also directed Amitabh Bachchan and Mithun Chakrabarti and Dharmendra, and I've worked with Amir, and I've worked with a lot of actors, and I have directed a few, and I have learned from them. I have learned, I have actually stood in the corner as an assistant and seen someone like Amitabh Bachchan in Agnipath. He used to have his file open on a table. I remember there was a scene in which he was supposed to go completely crazy with Madhvi's character when his mother had insulted him. And we all broke for lunch. And there he was, just rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. And it was a treat to watch, but also to learn. I always tell my assistants and people who work with me that this is the only place we get paid to learn. So I think first that learning has helped me a lot. And then secondly, I think, I like the stories I narrate. If it is a job, then it won't happen. If it's a passion, anybody can do it.
Hi. Sir, how do you plan to monetize the stories, and do you have any plans for that?
So Sony LIV is an advertising platform where a lot of advertisers put their ads on the platform, and that's our way of monetizing. So we believe that the advertising that will show around the show will pay for this.
Okay, and do you think it's a big challenge on digital to get revenue since it is new, and how do you see that?
So I think the newness allows us to do new things. The newness allows us to experiment with platforms or experiment with formats. And I think that's the way we are addressing it. We are an organization which is investing in this entire medium and the content behind it. We see this as a long-term play for us. We will be able to monetize it. We will be able to put ads around it. And therefore, over a period of time, we will recover our money. So that's our agenda. We see this as a long-term content play in the digital space. As more and more telecom companies invest in the infrastructure, we believe this ecosystem will grow.
Vikram sir, any plan, did you think of converting any of the short stories into a film? or because they were not being able to convert it into film that you decided to make them a short story?
Look, let's be really honest about this situation. Films are going through a really bad time in trying to make it to the screen. You know, if you get a star and a studio to back your idea, then you'll run into some censor trouble. You'll run into, you can't say this word, you can't say that word. And if you go through censor, you might just have, upset some political group or someone else, and they will throw stones at your theater and stop it. I think it's a stranglehold on storytellers. For too long, I think films have been a whipping horse. I mean, if you want to make a statement against smoking, then you first put a disclaimer on, on a film. Smoking is injurious, but you will not stop the pan shop. India is the only country where you get loose cigarettes. As a matter of fact, I remember I was smoking when I was very little, and I went abroad, and I asked the guy if he could give me 2 cigarettes, and he looked at me like I was mad, because there you can only a packet. So it's the only place in the world where you get that. You won't stop that. There'll still be horse carts on Juhu Beach and guys flagging the poor horse. But for us, even if it's computer graphics, we have to give them, okay, we did this with computer graphics. So we become a whipping horse. And in that climate, Sony LIV and what we are doing comes as a breath of fresh air for anyone who wants to do something creative.
भट्ट साहब, ये नए कलाकारों के लिए कितना चांस रहेगा इसमें? आप रेपुटेड कलाकार लेंगे या नए नए लोगों को भी रखेंगे?
फिलहाल तो मैं अपने आप को चांस दे रहा हूँ. मैंने सोचा बहुत कर लिया लोगों के लिए, अब खुद ही कहानियाँ बोल के अपने आप को ही स्टार बना देता हूँ. बहुत हो गया नाच गाना.
अच्छा, Vikram, what is the logic of having English subtitles for this when you are speaking in English?
See, what happens is that it's called transcripting, and throughout the world it has been noticed that a lot of people follow things easier if you have a transcript. Another thing is that, see, the broadcast quality is something that we can only maintain to a certain point. Correct me if I'm wrong, so that's your area. But everybody is not going to watch it on HD.
Yeah.
We'll be beaming on HD, but someone is watching it on 240p, 480p, 720p as however they get the network. So if someone is not getting proper network, then at least if there's a word that he misses, he can read. So that way you don't disconnect from the story.
It's also followed a lot by the English film channels these days. So, if you look at television and you look at the English channels, a lot of English channels will have English subtitles running along. It just helps you focus more and be able to follow better.
And sir, I would like to ask you, you're not targeting the non-English speaking audience like the Hindi belt who would probably want subtitling in Hindi so they can figure out what he's saying, the interpreter.
So I think the minute you start translating it, then the meaning just becomes very different, and the way it's read and the way it's understood is very different. The purity of the storytelling is in the passion and the way in which Bhatt Sahab is narrating it. And I think we should maintain that purity rather than focus right now on translation. Let's see how it goes, and then we'll see how to move ahead.
Vikram sir, over here. Priyanka, the trend of web series is really coming up. So are you also planning to make one web series, as it's a very short this thing?
I am making one already,
Okay.
which is called Maya, but that's not the platform we are on today.
Hello.
यार बोल ही मत इसके बारे में. प्लीज हाथ जोड़ रहा हूं मैं. आइडिया भी मत दे एकदम. We did not, भाई किसको काट देना.
Hi, Vikram sir, Iqbal here. Yes, sir. Sir, you have wonderfully narrated the story and all. So there are only few shows, in media and all. So on web series as well. So did you, before working with this episode, did you went through all so that you can work far better than something like that? Do you have any plan to see some other shows so that you can also work in this Once Upon a Time with Vikram Bhatt?
समझा नहीं मैं क्या
Sir, I am just asking, so did you see any episode before working with this kind of shows?
any episodes like this?
Yes, sir.
I don't think there is anything like this. I'm quite unique, but if there is, then I wouldn't mind seeing competition.
But
Hello.
did you see any episodes like that, or did you any reality shows or any narrating shows so that you can work better than this show?
नहीं ऐसा कोई मिला नहीं मुझे शो, लेकिन अगर आपके पास हो तो प्लीज़ मुझे भेज दीजिए ताकि मैं उसकी भी बैंड बजा दूं.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, this is for Vikram, sir. Here, towards your right, आपके right की ओर.
ओहो.
मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ कि
जी.
आपने हमेशा कैमरा के पीछे काम किया है,
जी.
तो ये आप तब कैमरा के सामने आप काम कर रहे हो, तो कैसा लग रहा है आपको कैमरा के सामने काम करना?
देखिए ये काम तो मैं ज़िंदगी भर कर रहा था. कभी एक्टरों को सुनाता ऐसे, तो कभी जिसके पास पैसे है उसको सुनाता हूँ. अभी सुना पैसे लोगों के पास है तो अभी वहाँ चला गया हूँ. लेकिन काम तो वही कर रहा हूँ मैं, सिर्फ कैमरा लगा दिया मेरे सामने. लेकिन कहानी तो इतनी शिद्दत से ही आज तक कह रहा हूँ.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vikram, this, Vikram. Vikram, this particular episode, I think it's 20 minutes something?
20 minutes?
No,
I think it's just 10 minutes.
So it looks like 20 minutes.
That's
And
because
you get so engrossed in the story
Oh,
as such.
I wish you said it looks like 2 minutes. But
No, 20 minutes. The best part is that there is a definite message in this particular episode.
yeah, and this one there is, yeah.
Now, since this media, the platform which you have gotten is LIV, Sony LIV, I think you can send across messages through most of your episodes, because there is a need as of today, because here also there is a very definite message where people are not aware of the culture and this, that, and they are getting into some worse
Yeah.
kind of this,
Yeah.
So in your consecutive episodes, you can take a call on this,
See, I don't think anybody wants to be told what to do.
No, not like that. Indirectly when you
I know-
shoot,
I know what you're trying to
the
say.
message reaches across.
I think the stories have a different kind of. Sometimes you tell a story where you nod and you say, "हाँ यार ऐसा होता है." Sometimes the stories have a what if feeling. Okay, yaar, what if something like this were there? Like when you watch a film like Narnia, you go into a world and you say, "What if?" So I think stories answer a lot of needs. Sometimes there's a need for a message. Sometimes there's a need to create a world where you wish you were. And fortunately, all these stories that we have, which will be aired, have something or the other at the end of it that you take away. So that your question is very important from that point of view, that at the end of 10 minutes, do you take away something?
Correct.
Yes, you take away.
Yes.
You either take away a message or you either take away a what if feeling, and after you stop watching the story, you wonder what would have happened if the story were true.
Can you also talk about spaces that you have shot in? As in, is it only interiors or exteriors?
So no, this is a study of mine, and I tell all my stories from there. The point is to be and take you everywhere with the story. Because the minute I start taking myself and narrating in different places, it defeats the purpose. Because some stories are even in outer space. You get the meaning, right? So, the idea is to take you along with the story. Like, I think we went into Gangadhar's house with this story. Or you went into Sunaina's house with the refrigerator story. In your mind, you have to go to those places. That's storytelling.
And can you also talk about the target audience for this whole program?
That, I think,
So I
is a
think the
question for him.
target audience for a lot of this would be English-speaking urban audiences. At least we believe the medium, the mobile handheld users are a lot in the urban areas, and because these stories are told in English, I think a lot of urban audiences will like to hear some of these stories. As we progress, we'll see what to do, but I think we want to start off like this, keep it urban. Also essentially because a lot of mobile audiences and 3G and 4G audiences are in urban cities right now.
Reading. Reading is extremely important because it's an input-output thing, right? I think I read more than I write. I love to read, but see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That what does Once Upon a Time do? What does this story do? There are a lot of people out there who love stories but don't like to read. So this is a show that brings that story to you, and you don't have to sit with a book. You can just watch and imagine, and someone is telling you a story. And this is actually reading for somebody, but you don't have to go through the process, and that's what internet and the digital world has done for us. It has brought stories to us in different ways, and you don't have to sit with a book and read. There are different ways now. मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि कोई नोटिस करे मुझे और कोई सा भी छोटा मोटा सा ही रोल दे दे, और मैं सीरियस हूँ. कोई भी देखे मुझे और बोले यार इसको हमने काम नहीं दिया आज तक. मैं कह रहा हूँ आपसे, मैं वादा करता हूँ आपको, अगर आप किसी को जानते तो आप करवा दीजिए. हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं तगड़ा तैयार हूँ.
So you've always given chance to newcomers. In terms of performance, you are performing alone. But behind the camera, are you giving chance to new technicians?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. There's a whole team of new people out there who have done this. There is Anupam Saroj, who has directed. It's his first directorial debut. He has. He's the son of Santosh Saroj, who is a celebrated writer, who wrote Agnipat's dialogues also in screenplay. I was an assistant when I used to work with him. Now he was my assistant and now he's a director. There is Krishna, who's my daughter, who creatively handles the show. There is Isha, the writer, and of course Manu and Sugandha, who is there to eat my head 24/7. She's the business head, and Dharam. So all of them together are a whole new team, and it's their first venture.
So we can take on more questions one-on-one? Yeah.
Thank you so much for your questions, and we are open to one-on-one questions later if anybody wants to. We would also like to tell you, as the event comes to an end, we have here an absolutely lovely, and do not leave without eating lunch.
Sir, hold up, sir. Look here, sir. बुक नहीं सर 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 लुकिए सर बैक टू फ्रंट सर लेना है उठना हो गया ना तो हटना. अरे यार जाना इनके साथ अपन यहाँ से स्टार्ट करते हैं. ओके रेडी चलो. हाँ सर यहाँ पे हो गया चल अभी तेरे लिए सर. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सर. लगाओ बूम लगाओ. हाँ भाई आगे चालू किया ना राजा.
क्या बेटा कौन पूछ रहा है सवाल?
सर हम लोग सब लोग
जो सवाल पूछ रहा है वो यहाँ खड़े बीच में. जो भी कोई भी सवाल पूछ रहा है सवाल कौन पूछ रहा है सबके लिए?
अरे राकेश राकेश आजा.
चाहे तो मैं माइक पकड़ लूँ, लेकिन आप यहाँ आइए। आपके फेस को देखना बड़ा ज़रूरी है मेरे लिए।
विक्रम सर, सबसे पहले तो क्या थॉट प्रोसेस था आपका इस वेब सीरीज़ को लॉन्च करने के पीछे, उस बारे में कुछ बताइए, और कब आपको ख्याल आया कि इस तरह का वेब सीरीज़?
देखिए, जैसे मैं वहाँ ऊपर स्टेज पे भी कह चुका हूँ कि ये जो ख्याल है ना, ये कहानियों को इस तरह ड्रामेटिकली पेश करना, मैं फेसबुक पे अपनी कहानियाँ लिखता था और एक दिन ऐसे ही शुरू की मैंने कहानी लिखनी। पहले कहानी छोटी होती थी, बढ़ती गई, 1 पेज की हो गई। वो कहते हैं कि मैं चल पड़ा, धीरे धीरे कारवां बन गया। तो पहले तो 10-12 लोग पढ़ते थे, फिर 100 पढ़ते थे, फिर हज़ारों पढ़ने लगे। तो सोनी लिव जो हैं, उन्होंने कहानियाँ पढ़ी मेरी और उन्होंने कहा कि आपको ना ये आके ये कहानी कैमरा के ऊपर पूरी एक्टिंग वैक्टिंग के साथ सुनानी चाहिए लोगों को। मैंने कहा किसको इंटरेस्ट है यार, कौन दिखाए? उन्होंने कहा कि यार आप करिए, तो ज़रूर लोगों को कहानियाँ सुनने में बहुत ही इंटरेस्ट है, आप करिए। जब मैंने किया तो मैं खुद ही दंग रह गया कि कभी कभी दूसरे लोगों को आप पे ज़्यादा एतबार होता है अपने आप से। तो सोच उनकी थी, कहानियाँ मेरी।
और बड़े पर्दे से क्यों शुरुआत नहीं की आपने वेब सीरीज से? एनी पर्टिकुलर रीज़न बिहाइंड इट?
देखिए, आपको लगता है कि ये कोई अभिनय है, लेकिन ये अभिनय नहीं है। मैं कोई किरदार नहीं प्ले कर रहा हूँ, कहानियाँ बोल रहा हूँ। ये तो कोई भी कर सकता है ना, जैसे कंपेयरिंग का काम होता है या होस्टिंग का काम होता है। मैं विक्रम भट्ट ही हूँ ना यहाँ पे, मैं थोड़ी मतलब कोई एक्टर बन गया हूँ। तो छोटे पर्दे बड़े पर्दे का वैसे भी फासला रहा नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप इंसिस्ट करें तो ये वैसे भी अभिनय तो है ना।
और कितना डिफिकल्ट रहा आपके लिए ये अभिनय करना?
बिल्कुल ही नहीं, क्योंकि ये तो काम हम करते ही आ रहे हैं सालों से, हमारा काम ही है ये। हम प्रोड्यूसरों को कहानी सुनाते हैं, एक्टरों को कहानी सुनाते हैं, एक्साइट करते हैं पिक्चर के लिए। जैसे महेश भट्ट साहब जो मेरे गुरु हैं कहते थे कि हम हैं ही भांड बरासी सब लोग। तो हमारा काम है, हम इसको मंकी डांस कहते हैं कि जाओ भाई मंकी डांस करो किसी के सामने। तो ये तो हमारा पुराना शौक़ है कहानियाँ बोलने का। फ़र्क ये है कि इस बार कुछ सूट वूट पहन के कुछ ढंग से कुछ शूट किया है।
Are you conscious in front of the camera?
No. Do I look? Then.
Sir, you never wanted to be an actor, perhaps?
No, I never want to be an actor. I'll tell you why. Because when you're an actor, you depend on other people to come with you with scripts. You can't create your own. Unless you are like a Raj Kapoor who can do it, who's a producer director. कितने सारे ऐसे एक्टर हैं, अच्छे एक्टर हैं, जो वेट करते हैं अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए कि कोई हमारे पास आए। तो मैंने कहा क्यों ना खुद ही अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट करूँ।
ओके विक्रम सर, जो ऑडियंस है बेहद पसंद करते हैं आपकी कहानियाँ, जिस तरीके से आप बयां करते हैं। कुछ कहानियाँ जो आपके दिल के करीब रही है, जो किसी और ने बयां की है, वो पुरानी फिल्म जो आपको हमेशा अच्छी लगती है, हॉरर स्टोरी।
देखिए, मुझे ना कहानियाँ तो वैसे भी बहुत पसंद है। आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे कि जैसे अगर मैं दिल्ली चला गया किसी काम से और मैं एयरपोर्ट से जा रहा हूँ, तो मैं पूछ लेता हूँ ड्राइवर को कहाँ के हो, वो बताता है। फिर मैं पूछता हूँ दिल्ली कैसे आ गए, फिर वो गाड़ी चलाता है, कहानी सुनाता है, मैं कहानी सुनता हूँ और उसकी कहानी में खो जाता हूँ। हम लोग सब कहानी में ही जीते हैं। देखिए, आप रूमर कहिए तो कहानी है, गॉसिप कहिए तो कहानी है, इंसिडेंट नरेट करें तो कहानी है, न्यूज़ देखे तो कहानी है, हर चीज़ कहानी है।
कभी जो कहानियाँ बयां करते हैं, जो जिन इंसिडेंट्स के बारे में आप बात करते हैं, कभी घटना घटी आपकी वास्तविक ज़िंदगी में, कभी ट्रैवल करते हुए या सोचते हुए कुछ सपने वगैरह? कभी सर ऐसा भी हुआ है कि कोई आपको सपना आया हो, उस पर आपने कहानी लिख दी हो, या कुछ ऐसा इंसिडेंट हुआ?
ऐसा तो होता ही है। देखिए, कुछ ना कुछ तो आपके साथ होता ही है, वरना आप ये इंसिडेंट क्रिएट कैसे कर सकते हैं।
और टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या होगी?
वही आइए सर।
सो टारगेट ऑडियंस इसकी ये बिकॉज हम सोनी लिव मोबाइल पे है, इट्स एन ऐप ऑन द मोबाइल, सो अ लॉट ऑफ टारगेट ऑडियंस विल बी पीपल जो मोबाइल पे हैं, जो मोबाइल पे इसको देख सकते हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि ये बहुत लोग देखें। फिल्म के में आपको टिकट देनी पड़ती है, खर्चा होता है। यहाँ पे आपको फ्री आप सोनी लिव का ऐप डाउनलोड कीजिए और ये इसका मज़ा लीजिए। सो द आइडिया इज़ टू रीच आउट टू अ लार्ज ऑडियंस, बट बिकॉज मोबाइल ऑडियंस है, 3G 4G चाहिए होगा, तो ये अर्बन सिटी ऑडियंस will be a bigger part of it, but obviously the reach will go to smaller cities also.
In quite a few countries, you actually have to pay for the content, even online. So, do you think that is the way forward for Sony LIV and also for generally digital content in India?
Not for the time being, but maybe at some point in time. Movies are paid on Sony LIV, but this kind of a content we want it to reach maximum number of people. So जितने लोगों को ज़्यादा मिलेगा उतना हमारे लिए अच्छा है, and हम चाहते हैं कि advertisers and advertising से इसका खर्चा निकले, and therefore we're trying to reach out to the maximum number of people.
Any plans to launch in regional language?
Not in the near future. Our first plan is to launch it in English. एक बार English में हो जाए, feedback देखेंगे, response देखेंगे, then there is lots to do.
बहुत shooting करनी पड़ेगी इनमें.
What is the average length of all stories? Or
10 to 12 minutes.
Yeah.
10 to 12?
10 I would say is an average.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.